Hey everybody, this is Perch. I want to give you some advice, and this is really going out to a lot of the amateur comic creators, or maybe the artists or the writers who have been working for the big two, have some ambitions for doing something on their own, or but you're just struggling a little bit about how to make that work. It could be a lot of reasons, but I want to give you this advice, and I hope you take it. The good news about my advice is it's really not going to take you much time. But and it will feel stupid. This advice is gonna feel pointless at one point. But here's where it's a trust me, bro moment. You will be thankful for this later if you're talented. And that if is a big deal because a lot of people believe they have the next great story, then they're the best artist in the world, or a lot of people believe a lot of things. But when push comes to shove, it doesn't quite work out the way you think. So this is my advice. And this is about protection. Let's say for the moment that you have an amazing idea, right? You have okay, my car is talking to me. I don't know why. Anyway, um, you have an amazing idea for a comic book. You've come up with a great concept. It's going to be a big seller. You absolutely believe that you have the secret, the unlock to a huge idea in comics and movies and comics to movies, whatever it happens to be. This is what you need to do. I want you to go to, a Michael's or a craft store, or whatever it happens to be, Target, Walmart, and I want you to buy a little sketch pad, something that is relatively small, and I want you to storyboard your idea out on that sketch pad. Now, you may say, well, I'm not an artist. Fuck that. Don't worry about that part. Draw it with stick figures if you need to, but I want you to storyboard your idea out. And to be clear, and this sounds really dumb, but what I mean by this is literally you do it like you're a 6-year-old. Every page is a storyboard. Draw stick figures, move it around, draw the dialogue, get your idea out on paper, recorded. That's the operative word, recorded. But put your idea in this sketch pad, write it up, date it, and ideally, one thing you can do, and this is the stupidest thing, but this is a lawyer hack. Go to, God help you, go to Arby's, buy yourself a shitty sandwich that's going to give you diarrhea later. Then take that receipt and tape it to the inside of your little sketchbook that's filled with your idea. Now, you may say, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? Well, there's one important part of that receipt that is going to help you, and that is a date. It is a recorded date from a system that's outside of yourself. Now, by the way, there's a better way to do this, and that's to go get it notarized, go get somebody to officially sign off that's a date. But I'll be honest with you, if you ever go to court or you ever have to prove your idea, the receipt is enough. I've seen it work in court. I've seen it work for much bigger things than comic books or ideas, storyboards. I've seen this work for software. I've seen this work for AI algorithms. I've seen this work for really big things against really big companies. I saw a tiny company defeat Intel and Google based on a receipt like this. You can't do it. Again, you may say, this doesn't hold up in court. You'd be surprised. So what's the point of all this? Well, a couple things. This has multiple parts of value to you as a creator. The first thing it's going to do is it's going to basically get this idea that's in your head that you believe is the most amazing idea in the world, but you've never actually written it down. You've just thought about it. And it's going to force you to actually do the work of writing it down. In doing so, you're going to discover the parts of your idea suck and that you need to refine them. And it's going to cause your brain to kick into motion to get to a better idea. That's a good thing. So right away, it's going to help you get to better quality. That's step one. Step two is at some point, if you ever need to sell someone in your idea, you might be shocked and you might be embarrassed, but showing your sketchbook of a bunch of stick figures going through the motions of whatever your idea is, at times has been the deciding factor between a company investing in you. It will help. And finally, and this is the tough part for a lot of creative people to understand, no matter how amazing and unique you think your idea is, and I will tell you, I've talked to some of the biggest comic writers in the world. many, and they will, with a straight face, tell you that they have an idea that nobody has ever thought of before, and it is an amazing idea, and it's magical, and it's going to sell 1 million copies, and it never fucking does. Can I tell you how many comic writers I have talked to over the last 10 years who claim that this genius idea they have will sell 1 million copies? How many 1 million-copy comic books have you seen in the last 10 years? I'll give you a clue. 0. There have been 0. Unless you're talking about manga, there have been 0. So what does this mean? Well, number one, it means that those ideas aren't as good as people think. And number two, many of those ideas never actually emerged into anything because they never got out of somebody's head, got out of somebody's kind of drunken boasting, and made their way onto an actual page. So this book, this idea, this advice I'm giving you is probably the most gold advice I can give an aspiring creator, and in many cases, an established creator. This is what's going to take your idea and refine it to make it actually sellable. It's going to give you the oomph to actually do it. And then finally, the part I haven't mentioned yet is it's going to give you the legal coverage in the event that your genius idea is not quite as unique and genius as you think. And I hate to break it to you, but none of your ideas are as genius and unique as you think. None of them. They all have flaws. They all have some aspect of been done before, or by the time it's taking you to get off your ass and actually get your idea out, somebody else will do your idea. Therefore, having that record of your idea and having that receipt with the date on it is helpful. You put it this way, if you ever find yourself in a legal situation over your idea, you're already kind of losing because you're having to spend money on a lawyer and you're fighting, and it's like none of this is a good place to be. But you would be amazed how many companies, including Marvel, and I have very close friends who have shut down things at Marvel by simply showing that they had an idea that was remotely similar to what they were doing first. It is armor, it is protection, and it will help you. But most of all, this is going to help you get this concept, this idea, this dream, this hope, this aspiration out of imagination world and into reality. And the thing about comics is the majority of ideas, if you think about it for a moment, you think about amazing comic creators, you think about Frank Miller, and you think about Alan Moore, and you think about Chris Claremont, and you think about John Byrne, and you think about all the hundreds of amazing comic creators out there who've produced amazing comics that we've all enjoyed. Well, guess what? Their best ideas you probably never saw. They never actually made their way to the page. So for you, who's got ideas, who wants to make a comic, take this step. Here's a little thing you could do to yourself to make it better for you. Before you take this step, give yourself a time limit. I'm going to write my idea down in this book. It's Monday, and by Sunday, I'm not touching this again. It's got to be done. It's got to be done in 1 week's time. Give yourself a time limit. Force yourself to do it. And the most important thing is you're not publishing a goddamn comic book. So your scribbles, your misspellings, your stick figures, whatever the fuck it is, does not matter. What matters is getting your idea, getting your brain, getting your creativity down onto a page. This is going to make you successful. And by the way, this isn't just for comics. You could use the same advice for music, for movies, for inventions you have, for books you want to write. It doesn't matter. Whoever you are, I have to stress, this is the part that everyone fucks up. They let the idea just sit in storage in their brain, but your brain is movable. Your idea will morph over time as you get fixated on the election, or you start drinking, or you have a hard time at work, or you start dating and fucking a lot. Like, there's all these things have a way of twisting your idea around. So get it the fuck out of your head, put it on paper, find a way to date it, ideally from an external source, And this will help you immensely. This doesn't guarantee that you're going to be a massive success in life, but it guarantees that you're getting off your ass and you're actually getting something done. And nobody wants to admit it, by the way. Nobody wants to admit that maybe they're a little too sluggish, a little bit passive, a little bit of a procrastinator, all that. Nobody wants to admit it. In some cases, you don't even know that that's who you are. The second you start putting stuff down on paper, even in a rudimentary scratch stick figure type format, it takes your idea from imagination town into reality. And in that moment, you're going to learn where your flaws are. You're going to learn what work you have to do. And most importantly, you're going to set the wheels in motion to actually make your ideal reality. And you're also creating a nice little defense against your idea being stolen in the future. Those things count. And that's always underserved. But if you look at the greats in the past, in movies and comics and music and everything else, if you really dig into their story, you will discover that the people who are truly successful did exactly what I'm telling you to do right now. So, write down that idea, get it on paper, get it documented, get it there, and then step 2 and 3 and 4 can follow, but do that first step. Even if it never goes anywhere past that, you will feel an amazing relief that you took this thing out of your head and put it into storage where it can be maintained. Give it a shot. Anyway, that's what I got for you tonight. So live well. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And thanks for listening.